Marco Antonio Muñiz is, better known by his stage name as Marc Anthony, is an American actor, record producer, singer-songwriter, fashion designer, and television producer. Anthony is also the top-selling tropical salsa artist of all time. The two-time Grammy and four-time Latin Grammy winner has sold more than 12 million albums worldwide. He is best known for his Latin salsa numbers and ballads. Anthony has won numerous awards, and his achievements have been honored through various recognitions. He was the recipient of the 2009 Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute Chairs Award. He also received the 2009 CHCI Chairs Lifetime Achievement Award on September 16, 2009. Early life: Marco Antonio Muñiz is, known professionally by his stage name Marc Anthony, was born in New York City, to Puerto Rican parents Guillermina, a housewife, and Felipe Muñiz is, a musician and hospital lunchroom worker from Guayama, Puerto Rico. Anthony's parents named him after Mexican singer Marco Antonio Muñiz. Anthony grew up in East Harlem, also known as Spanish Harlem and El Barrio, and is the youngest of 8 surviving children. He was raised Roman Catholic. Singing career: Muñiz began his career as a session vocalist for freestyle and underground New York house music acts. After changing his name to avoid confusion with his namesake, Anthony worked as a songwriter and backing vocalist for pop acts including Menudo and the Latin Rascals. His first album was a freestyle music record, Rebel, in 1988 on Blue Dog Records. That same year he wrote and produced Boy I've Been Told for fellow freestyle artist Czar Fire. Then in 1989, he sang backup vocals for Anne-Marie on the Freestyle Club hit, With or Without You, produced by Little Louie Vega and Todd Terry. A year later, 1990, with Little Louie Vega and Todd Terry, Marc wrote and whispered a duet with CHCI, called You Should Know By Now. In 1992, still working with Todd Terry, he provided vocals for Love Change, which is on the flip side of a 12 vinyl released by Ilan and the Power Machine titled Here's Your Hat, production of Todd Terry. At the same time, he collaborated with music producer Little Louie Vega, who featured the singer on many another freestyle-flavored club hits Ride on the Rhythm, and the When the Night Is Over album, which featured the freestyle classic Time. In 1992, Vega and Anthony opened for Latin band leader Tito Puente at New York's Madison Square Garden. After 1992, he changed his style from freestyle to salsa and other Latin styles. RMM Records, Otra Nota. Anthony was initially reluctant to become a salsa musician and declined an offer to make a salsa album when Ralph Mercado, president of RMM Records, asked him. Anthony was in a taxi when he heard Juan Gabriel's hit song, Hasta que te Conica, which influenced him to change his mind and ask Mercado if he could record it as a salsa tune. Inspired by the music of Tito Puente, Hector Lavoe, Ruba Copyright N Blades and Juan Gabriel, Anthony released his Spanish-language debut, Otra Nota, in 1993. Anthony performed at the Radio Y Musica convention hosted by Alfredo Alonso. Si tu no te fueras, el último beso, Palabras del Alma. The album also included a cover of Bread's song, Make It With You. Subsequent tours throughout the Americas, including an opening slot for Blades, established Anthony as one of the new stars in salsa. In 1994, he was featured in Lo India's album Dicen que Soy, on the song Viva lo Nuestro. His 1995 follow-up, Todo a su tiempo, won Anthony a Billboard Award for Hot Tropical Artist of the Year. The album was also nominated for a Grammy with songs like Te Conozco Bien, Hasta Ayer, Nadie Como Ella, Se Me Sigo Vedando, Te Amar, and Llegaste a Me. The album has sold more than 800,000 copies and has become established gold in the US and in Puerto Rico. Anthony's next Spanish-language album, Contra la Corriente, was followed by the television special Marc Anthony, the concert from Madison Square Garden, broadcast on HBO on Valentine's Day 2000. The special was nominated for Music Special of the Year from TV Guide. The album's song Y Hubo Alguien became his first #1 single on the Billboard Hot Latin Tracks chart and the first by a salsa musician. The album became the first salsa album to enter the English-language Billboard 200 chart. After an ongoing battle with RMM, he severed ties with Ralph Mercado and left the label in 1999. Moved to Sony, Anthony subsequently recorded the duet No Me Ames with Jennifer Lopez on her album On the Six, giving her an assist in her Spanish-language crossover attempt. In 1999, riding the crossover wave of Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin in the Anglophone market, Anthony, working with producers Walter Afanasieff, Corey Rooney, Dan Shear, and Rodney Jerkins, released an English-language, self-titled album with the U.S. top 5 single I Need to Know, and the Spanish version, Dámelo. His song You Sang to Me was featured in Runaway Bride. A dance version was remixed by Dutch producer René van Verseveld. The album debuted at number 8 on the Billboard album chart, and 6 weeks later went platinum. It eventually was certified triple platinum. The song I Need to Know earned a Grammy nomination for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. In 2001, he debuted another salsa album, Libre, which was certified gold with songs like Solos, Es Loco que Te Mira, and Vivindo. The album spent 14 weeks at the number 1 spot on the Billboard Top Latin Albums chart. The year after that, he made another English-language album, Mended. In June 2004, Anthony released a Latin pop album, Amas Sin Mentiras. The following month, he reintroduced its songs with a danceable salsa rhythm in another album, Valió la Pena. The song Escapa Copyright Monos was a duet with Jennifer Lopez. In the 2005 Latin Grammy Awards, his Amas Sin Mentiras won Best Latin Pop Album of the Year, and his Valió la Pena won Best Tropical Album of the Year. Lopez and Anthony performed Escapa Copyright Monos at the 2005 Grammy Awards. On July 11, 2006, Anthony released Sigo Siendo Yo, a Spanish greatest hits album. On May 2010 he released Iconos, a tribute to old Latin songs by artists such as José Copyright Luis Perales, Juan Gabriel and José Copyright. In 2012, he released a new song called Cautivo de Esta Ama. On December 2012, it was announced that Anthony was recording a salsa album alongside with longtime producer Sergio George. The title of the upcoming single is Viver Mi Vida, a Spanish adaptation of Cale's song C'est la vie, and was released on April 25, 2013. In July 2013, Anthony released 3.0, a salsa album including his song Viver Mi Vida. Since the release, the album has been certified platinum. In addition to the new album, Anthony announced his Viver Mi Vida World Tour, and plans to travel across 15 countries on 3 continents. Acting career: Anthony played supporting roles in projects including 1995's Hackers, and 1996's Big Night and The Substitute. He appeared with Ruba Copyright N-Blades and Puerto Rican pop singer Ednita Nazario in Paul Simon's 1998 stage musical, The Cape Man, which ran for 68 performances. He had a role in Martin Scorsese's 1999 drama Bringing Out the Dead, and in 2001, opposite Salma Hayek, was in the film In the Time of the Butterflies. In Man on Fire, Anthony, opposite Denzel Washington, played a wealthy businessman who hires a former U.S. Marine to protect his daughter from kidnappers in Mexico City. In 2007, Anthony starred in El Cantante, a biographical drama about the life of salsa music legend copyright Hector Lavoe, who died in 1993 from AIDS complications. Anthony's then-wife, Jennifer Lopez, narrated the story and portrayed Lavoe's wife. The film, released in August 2007, received strong reviews. In 2010, Anthony guest-starred in 2 episodes of the TNT medical drama Hawthorne as a detective and the title character's love interest. He was later named the executive music producer of the show. Anthony worked with ex-wife Lopez and director-choreographer Jamie King in late 2011 on a Latin talent series created by Simon Fuller, called Quiva. The Chosen. It follows Lopez and Anthony as they travel across his 21 countries to find new talent. In 2012, Anthony guest mentored on Season 2 of The X Factor. Personal life: Anthony is a Democrat and performed the national anthem at the 2012 Democratic National Convention. Anthony also sang God Bless America at Major League Baseball's All-Star Game in New York on July 16, 2013. While Anthony is an American CHCI, born and raised in New York of Puerto Rican descent, numerous offensive tweets made the rounds, citing a unregistered trademark T in Amaria can be singing God Bless America. Under the mistaken belief that Anthony is actor allied from Mexico or Cuba. The Anti-Defamation League spoke out against the offensive tweets. Relationships and family. In 1994, Anthony's ex-girlfriend Debbie Rosado, a NYC police officer, gave birth to their daughter Ariana. Marc married former Miss Universe Dayanara Torres on May 9, 2000 in Las Vegas. They have two sons, Christian Anthony Muñiz is who Anthony named after the Mexican singer Cristian Castro, and Ryan Anthony Muñiz is. There were many problems in the marriage, and the couple separated in early 2002. They later reconciled and renewed their vows in a formal ceremony on December 7, 2002 at San Juan's Cathedral in Puerto Rico. The rocky marriage came to an end in October 2003 with Dayanara filing for divorce in January 2004. To help in her recovery from the divorce, Dayanara traded her engagement ring for a diamond-encrusted Cartier watch and wrote the book Married to Me, How Committing to Myself Led to Triumph After Divorce. When his divorce proceedings began, Anthony was spotted with longtime friend Jennifer Lopez. Prior to his first marriage and her second, they had briefly dated. Lopez and Anthony married on June 5, 2004, less than a week after his divorce was finalized. Guests had been invited to an afternoon party, unaware they were attending a wedding. Lopez gave birth to their children, twins M. Maribel Muñiz and Maximilian David Muñiz on February 22, 2008. People paid $6 million for the first photos of the twins. In 2009, Anthony and Lopez purchased a stake in the Miami Dolphins. They joined several personalities in buying small stakes in the club, including Gloria and Emilio Estefan, Venus and Serena Williams, and Fergie. Anthony and Lopez announced their separation in July 2011, with Anthony filing for divorce on April 9, 2012. Their divorce was finalized on June 18, 2014, with Lopez winning primary custody of the children. Discography: 1988, Rebel, 1991, When the Night Is Over, 1993, Otra Nota, 1995, Todo a Su Tiempo, 1997, Contra la Corriente, 1999, Marc Anthony, 2001, Liber, 2002, Mended, 2004, Amas sin Mentiras, 2004, Vallecube la Pena, 2007, El Cantante, 2010, Iconos, 2013, 3.0, Filmography, Television, 2010 2011, Hawthorne as Officer Nick Renata in A Mother Knows, and Picture Perfect, 2012, The X Factor, as a guest judge in Season 2, Episode 9, Awards and Nominations. See also: List of famous Puerto Ricans, List of #1 dance hits, List of artists who reached #1 on the U.S. dance chart. References. External links: Official website, Marc Anthony at Billboard.com, Marc Anthony at the Internet Movie Database.